in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, boxing out of the blue corner to my right, wearing red trunks with white trim, coming off a big upset victory and returning himself right here to Melrose Memorial Hall. Ladies and gentlemen, from Boston, Massachusetts, Victor Hugo Costa. And his opponent, standing directly across the ring, fighting out of the red corner to my left, wearing black trunks with gold trim. He stands tall at 6'9". His record impressive: 4 wins, 1 lone defeat, 2 big wins by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, Serhii Sheludko. 4 rounds, heavyweights.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again. My name is Chris J. I'm here with my broadcast partner, Kyle Cusick. Kyle, we are here for a 10-bout action-packed card. First 3 fights live here on YouTube for free before we head over to combatsportsnow.com. Starting it off with the big boys in a rematch. Serhii Sheludko versus Victor Hugo Costa.
Good to be here with you, Chris. And, yeah, like you said, these guys have fought once before, but, you know, Serhii's coming off a loss, tough decision against him, and you know, Victor Hugo Costa is coming off his first professional win.
Yeah, very interesting rematch because of the fact that they were in this very same ring together here at Memorial Hall back in February in a barn burner of a fight. Costa with that overhand right, which he just started Serhii with
twice.
That's how the last fight went. Serhii worked the distance. Seems like that's going to be the technique here for Costa. Very, very tough man. Do not let the stature or physicality of either man fool you. Serhii is from Andre Nowitzki's camp, who we will see tonight in the title fight, and he's looking to avenge what he thought was a sloppy performance against Costa back in February.
Absolutely, and I think Costa's only got better since that first bout. Like we said, he's coming off his first professional win in a second-round knockout at Mohegan Sun.
Costa complaining about either
behind the ear, behind the head,
potentially on the neck. We have a high-level referee, Arthur McCanty Jr. in there checking out the action. Costa seems to be looking to buy a little time after that shot,
but
calls the fight back on. And again, since they last met back in February, Kyle, a very interesting path for each of these gentlemen. Costa, who had not had a professional victory, pulled off a beautiful, stunning second-round upset, whereas Serhii lost a controversial decision in Kentucky.
Right.
So oddly enough, both men now have blemishes on the career. They decided to have this rematch for Serhii to get back on track and for Costa to continue his winning ways.
Absolutely. And if nothing else, Costa has proved that he's game in every fight. He's only been stopped by my training partner, Chris Aiello, out of the Fall River PAL in 2 rounds. But that was by no means did he lay down. You know, Chris looked really good that night, and
you gotta
put it on him.
You gotta love Costa. He believes that he can win this fight.
Absolutely.
In fact, at the weigh-in yesterday, he was incredibly confident. He's like, I'm going to win. He's like, I've only gotten better since my debut against him.
And he went 4 rounds, and I believe at least 2 of the judges gave him at least a round in that first fight.
Yeah.
So by no means is it I
kind of feel like we picked up where we left off from their last fight, Kyle. It's Costa trying to land that big overhand right.
Mm-hmm.
Serhii trying to work the long jab, and them clutching, holding a lot due to the punches that we just mentioned.
Absolutely. And we just saw with a few of those punches landed by Serhii, Costa kind of shaking it off, saying it didn't affect me.
Yeah.
And he definitely had, I mean, at 6'8", he's an enormous man.
Yeah, he's actually one of the tallest professional boxers right now in North America. I mean, he was a former basketball player, as you can imagine. He does hail originally from the Ukraine, like his training partner who was in the main event tonight, Andrew Nowitzki. But he got into boxing much later than Andre.
God, show me the way because the devil.
So we are off and running, ladies and gentlemen. We want to remind you, these first 3 fights tonight, the preliminary fights, are free on YouTube. And then we'll be heading over to Combat Sports Now. We have an action-packed 10-fight card for you. We're going to see the big one, Andre Nowitzki versus Keith Rydell Mays Jr. for the WBC International Heavyweight Championship of the World, Kyle.
And that's not just a made-up title. That's not a regional title.
No, this is a stepping stone title. This is the title that you enter the world rankings with. and such prestigious champions as Anthony Joshua,
Right.
Vladimir Klitschko.
David Tua, who might not have won a world title, but some really big, legitimate.
This is the beginning. This is the
fighters.
title you
Right.
win to go from prospect to a world ranked contender. And we're going to see it here tonight in the heavyweight division. But now let's go back to round 2 of Nowitzki's training partner, Serhii Sheludko, taking on Victor Costa in a fairly high stakes rematch.
Yeah, right. Like you said, I think Serhii has the higher ceiling, but it's kind of flip-flopped, right? He's coming off a tough, controversial decision loss, and Victor Hugo Costa's coming off his first win as a professional.
Yeah.
And he went the distance against Serhii the first time. Feels confident going in, like you said, when you touched base with him yesterday.
Yeah. And what's interesting is Serhii, when he straightens his punches out, he's having a lot of success.
Absolutely.
But he still sort of has some of that sloppy background. The punches get a little slappy on the inside instead of really sitting down and turning on them and keeping it really straight.
Right.
So,
and you would imagine him to be most successful using that range and that distance
100%.
with straight punches.
Yeah, with a God-given height like that, you live off a jab. I mean,
Right, right.
Man that tall with a long, straight jab can have a very lengthy professional career.
Right.
But he has to be wary of that big overhand right from Costa. Clearly, that's all Costa has. It's what he keeps sending up. And scary shot. It's what he got caught with a few times in the first fight that won Costa around.
Yes, right. And what Costa has in tandem with that big overhand right is a big heart, right? This guy's showing up every fight to win.
100%.
He's not an opponent that just goes in there and looks to lay down. I mean,
and it was his debut against Sheludko, and
Right.
a lot of people saw the body type, saw the belly, and quite frankly, they thought it was
Made
going to be a very
assumptions.
short night, and it was not. It was a
No.
hard-fought, back-and-forth four-rounder, much like we're seeing tonight.
exactly. It does. I might be mistaken, but it does look like Costa might be bleeding a bit from his nose. But in the previous fights I've seen him in, he might just be a bleeder. I know he was bleeding a little bit against Chris Aiello, so
And
that
he's-
might not mean much.
He's down on the canvas. It certainly didn't look like a shot.
No.
Arthur McCaney is calling no knockdown. He's complaining about is that the fight, Kyle?
Really? No, that can't. Wow.
Wow. Talk about a disappointment. Looks like Costa is complaining about his neck almost, Kyle. Do you see that? He's
Looked like earlier in the first round.
Love to get a
he might have
replay
been
on
hit
that.
behind the ear, and he complained about it. And I'd imagine this is kind of piggybacking off that shot behind.
Yeah.
Whether it's I didn't see one behind the head, but
Yeah, I can't really tell if that was a clean punch or if Costa
Right.
just but he's certainly motioning that there's a. Yeah, if you notice, he's hitting the back. He's touching the back of the head, the
Right.
head. I mean, which essentially is an illegal blow. I did not see that land.
no,
but,
me either. And
yeah.
admittedly, kind of a deflating end to what I thought would be a.
Didn't quite seem like he wanted to be here as much tonight
Right,
as he did in
right.
the first fight, which
And
is a
that-
surprise after all he talked.
That's the first time I've seen Victor in there not looking to go the 4 rounds and kind of dog it out,
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure that's exactly what Serhii Sheludko wanted in his former.
Right. Get back in the win column.
Yep, with a stoppage. That's
With a
what he wanted
stoppage.
tonight. He wanted to
Right,
prove
right.
that last time was a fluke and that he was going to have a stoppage here tonight.
Right, against a gentleman that he couldn't stop the first time. The outcome you wanted from Serhii.
Yep. Kicking things off here tonight for our 10-fight card. Right now live on YouTube. I want to thank everybody for joining us here on YouTube for the free preliminary fights, the first 3 fights of the night. And we will be heading over to Combat Sports now after the first 3. So starting things off nice and quick with a second-round knockout.
Right.
Let's send it up to Peter Zimbor.
1 minute, 56 seconds of round 2. Your winner via technical knockout, Serhii Sheludko!
Show of respect between the two fighters, and we will see that team. I'm sure Serhii will be in the corner for Andre's big title
Absolutely.
fight later tonight.